The stream is live. Welcome, friends. Hello. Um,
Hi everyone.
yes.
Despise Girls is back.
Well, at least two of the three. But we're all here together in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, where the COP28 climate change conference is taking place. So we've been here for 2 weeks already. These are already the closing moments of COP28. And as you can see, we are able to stream live from Dubai because there is nothing happening at the moment.
That's true.
So parties are still trying to forge some deals left and right, but not in spaces where civil society can actually observe and intervene. So we were told that the COP28 was supposed to have been closed at 11 a.m. today. It's already 4 p.m. in Dubai, and we just received information that a new text is coming out at 2 o'clock.
No,
No.
that's what they said yesterday evening, and then there's an email going to the from the president of the COP UAE saying that it's going to be maybe like at the earliest 6 p.m. All the documents that's going to be dropped by 6 p.m. So yeah, so that's why we are here and able to talk to you. In anime, we were able to talk to them, no? Like
Yeah.
even if the panel is happening and all that. So for me, that this cup is special.
It is.
Yeah, for me, it's special because it's just like being together, being together with the Despise
I
Girls.
know.
That's it.
This is the first time that all three of us are together in person. No, because the last time that we were all together was in 2019 during the high level political forum and all of the things that we did together there. And then the pandemic happened, and it is only now that we are together because sometimes it's just me and Emilia, sometimes it's you and Emilia, sometimes it's you and me.
When was that? You and me. I think we had it a lot of times, no?
Yeah,
In different
yeah.
multilateral spaces. But for me, it's really special because I don't usually go to COP spaces, to COP 28, 27. The last COP that I have been, I think, was in 2009, which is not COP. It was intersessional meeting, yeah, in Bangkok, the 2009. And then the last COP was COP 13 in Bali.
Oh my god. So this space has missed you so much.
15 years,
This space has missed you. Your magnificent troublemaking.
Yeah, it's kind of special that way. But then, yeah, this is why we want to have a conversation with you because we want to give our reflection on what do we think about COP, and then also how has it been for this Spice Girl and our advocacy here, our campaign here, our action here, and then maybe you can also share what do you think about COP28 and what is the outcomes that we are expecting or not getting, right?
All right, so maybe let's start first for the non-cop geeks. And I'm sure there are many, many more non-geeks than us junkies here in in Dubai.
You junkies.
Okay, I admit. But let's get started. So every year there is a meeting called Conference of Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, and that is where governments come together to talk about what they feel are solutions to the many impacts
Yeah.
of climate change.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be how the international community responds to
Yeah.
the global challenge of
Yeah.
the climate crisis. And it's covering areas around the need to reduce greenhouse gas emissions.
Yeah.
In junkie speak, they call it mitigation. It's also about
How we adapt.
yeah, developed countries recognizing that they have a responsibility in supporting developing countries face the impacts of climate change with technology, capacity building, and the most important, financial support.
Exactly.
So that's a legal obligation of developed countries when they signed on
Yeah.
to the convention. And then the third now is since COP27, where the governments agreed to set up a loss and damage fund,
What is loss and
Yeah,
damage? That,
recognizing that there are impacts of climate change, that adaptation is no longer enough. You know, adaptation means to build resilience. Like you put up
Yeah.
infrastructure, you set up support mechanisms in order for people who are made vulnerable to
Yeah.
the impacts of climate change somehow are able to withstand it. But no, there's already recognition that this year is the hottest year ever in the history of humankind. So, no matter how much you mitigate, no matter how much you try
Adapt.
to adapt, there would always be,
Losses
losses
and
and
damages.
damages. So, COP27 last year in Egypt was very significant in that governments agreed that there are impacts that need to be uh, addressed, and that communities, countries should be supported in order for them to rebuild, rehabilitate, after facing the worst impacts of droughts. No, they call it slow onset events,
Yeah.
drought, sea level rise, increasing salinity, but also those huge humanitarian disasters, like tsunami,
Yeah.
one of those things that
Yeah.
people disasters.
Yeah, typhoon is
Yes,
also like what's
super
happened. Super
typhoons.
typhoon, the one that happened in the Philippines, and then all other countries, and then also what I know that in it's actually a long fight, no, to actually get acknowledgement and recognition
Indeed.
on the loss and damage, right? And then last year in COP27 is actually quite a win for the civil society and developing country to push for loss and damage fund,
Mhm.
and then they supposed to actually have a conversation this year about how will it look like, right? There's a work of the what do you call it again,
Transitional committee.
transitional committee to discuss how it will be done, what is the operation of the loss and damage fund, and then this is something that's supposed to be negotiated this COP28. But that's one,
Mhm.
right?
That's only one of
There's
the
only-
many things.
What else? What the other that is now this?
This COP is also significant because we are having this global stock take. So this is actually something that's been agreed on in the Paris Agreement on climate change, that every couple of years, parties will come together to assess and evaluate how far they have come in terms of meeting the objectives of Paris Agreement,
Okay.
which is about keeping temperature rise to below 1.5 degrees, helping communities adapt to the impacts, etc., etc. So this now is the moment where the governments will agree that this is our collective assessment of how far we've come in terms of achieving the Paris Agreement goals. And if they do agree that, it's still lacking, then higher commitments, higher ambitions in order to make up for whatever shortfall should be taken here in Dubai.
So when you're saying that every couple of years, does it mean like every 8 years? Because you know, Paris Agreement 2015, so they now have it in 2023. So is
Mhm.
there any time frame on that?
It's supposed to be every 5 years.
Every 5 years.
So there's 5 years you assess, but there's a 2 year assessment period.
I see.
So, the conversation towards the global stocktake happened 2 years ago. It
Which
started
is
to happen 2 years
2021,
ago.
yeah.
And now, supposedly, parties are already agreeing. This is our collective assessment, okay? And this is also our collective commitment so that we can catch up to what we committed to in 2015. So that's why maybe you will hear how to ratchet up ambition, how to ratchet up action. So that's it about the global stock take.
Okay, so that's its global stock take. So we have already the loss and damage, global stock take. Another one is just transition work program. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's
It's
right.
just transition work program. Just to let you know that just transition is something that actually the language coming from the trade union and civil society. We push for a just transition. In the women gender constituency, we actually push for just an equitable transition. For instance, not only it's need to be just, but it also needs to be equitable. And then I think that for me, there's a lot of co-optation of the word, no? Don't you think? Because right now the way that it was framed, at least for me, I'm looking at into it as more like a just energy transition. You know, because like for us, you know, in APWLD, in my organization, or in the women gender constituency, women major group, when we are talking about just transition, we are talking about transition from a extractive fossil fuel, you know, very much exploitative economy, not only energy, towards an economy of care, right? But that's not happening apparently, right? So yeah, so that is what I felt. The just energy transition. Now it's been a discussion. There was like a few negotiation, but I will tell you later about the meeting that I went about fast tracking the just energy transition. Is very, 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 very dangerous.
Really?
Yes, it's very dangerous. Yeah. Yeah. So that's another point, which is the just transition work program. What,
What else? There's also NCQG. We want to give you, you know,
All the acronyms.
all the acronyms. NCQG is about a new collective quantified goal for climate finance. So they're negotiating here what could be their collective ambition in terms of providing finance, in terms of agreeing on the scale of finance that countries would need to address the impacts of the climate crisis. So this is an ongoing process. They will only agree on that next year. But already there's been a lot of heated discussions because the usual rich countries are trying to downplay their historical responsibility for providing finance. They don't want it to be included in any as a legal obligation, and now they're trying to turn the tables around on developing countries by saying that it's a global problem, so everyone should contribute. And even worse, they are now saying, public finance, money coming from government budgets, will never be enough. That's why we need to invite the private sector to provide the resources in order for us to collectively, address climate crisis. So increasingly, this space is about giving more and more opening
Opening to the
for private sector
Private
participation,
financing.
no? Private finance, also more loans, more investments. That's really disgusting because they now look at this climate crisis as an opportunity for investment. And we all know what investment means. What does
Yeah.
investment mean?
More profit, more business, more, land grabbing, more, all of those race to the bottom, more violation of labor rights, There's no ethical investment or business that's been happening ever in our region, at least, and many other global south region, right? So yeah, that is really, really dangerous. We have that, and then also what else aside from that is the most important, and then GGA.
Another acronym.
NCQG.
NCQG.
Oh my god. And sorry, back to the NCQG. So if we are saying that this is just the process, so when is supposed to be in COP29? Is that it?
Yes, yes. Next year, supposedly, countries will already agree on this is our new goal to mobilize climate finance, the amount, but also where the sources will be coming from, who can be eligible, all of those um, critical discussions on who should get and who should pay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah?
Very important.
Very
important
important.
discussion.
So you mentioned another acronym.
GGA.
What's it about?
No, you need to tell me what is it about. It's the global. Okay.
You can do it. You
Yeah.
can do it.
Global something adaptation.
Global goal on
Global
adaptation.
Yes, global goal and adaptation.
So that's another thing that parties are negotiating here. They agreed on that in Egypt, and then there's a year-long process for them to sort things out. What do we mean by a global goal on adaptation? So hopefully they've sorted it out, and at this COP, there's supposed to be a new framework to be
Okay.
agreed to
Okay.
guide countries about adaptation work in our countries.
Including the finance, no?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
Everything here, every negotiation item gets stuck on the issue of finance or the
Mm.
means of implementation.
Mm.
Of course, you can all say, we are for climate justice, we are for gender justice, we are for, just transition. But if there is no money put on the table,
Mm.
that is very, very problematic.
Mm.
And I think one of the things that our friends also might be interested to hear about is how, this whole carrot and stick approach that we are so much against about. They call it Article 2.1c, but basically it means making all of those finance flows consistent with a low carbon pathway. Again, we try to deconstruct that. It means, yeah,
Again.
it means all finance flows
Yeah.
should be consistent with a low carbon pathway. It sounds nice. It sounds
But
green, right?
but
But rich countries are using it as a carrot to push for more mitigation, push for more investments in mitigation like solar, renewable, nuclear, all of those untested technologies, when the need in developing countries is about adaptation and loss and
I
damage.
see, I see.
It's also about not recognizing developing countries' sovereignty to
To
decide.
decide what kind of adaptation scheme or model that they want. Is that it?
Yes, and also to
Mm.
decide how they intend to use the climate finance that will come as a part of rich countries' obligations. So, to tie it all to this low carbon pathway, a green future, no matter how nice it sounds, it's very, very dangerous because it already seriously undermines developing countries' sovereignty to chart their own path. Yeah, so that's
Mm.
been going on around in the negotiation rooms around here. So we have been seeing a lot of the initial texts come out from the negotiations, and it's really really bad. It's
Mhm.
really really looking bad. Like some of our friends here in Dubai are saying that this could probably be, the a very regressive outcome
Mhm.
if it comes to that, because some of the good stuff, in a sea of bad things, we get one good stuff, but now it's all being there's a serious pushback. So it's not only that we are not advancing, not progressing, but there's serious pushback because in those texts, what we see is erosion of language around human
Rights,
rights. What
even
else?
gender, and then
Gender.
also like more and more market or carbon market kind of language that is in right now, and all of that. But just before we go into our reflection, that we're
Okay.
doing glossary, right?
Yes.
We're doing glossary,
The
and then
ABC
the
of
ABC, the
COP28.
ABC of COP28 or COP in general. Another thing that I want to ask you, Tata, because I might not know so much, is on Article 6.
Mm.
And then every time, this is also difficult for people like me who come the first time at COP. Every time we have a meeting, it's always like, yeah, so there is Article 6.2, 6.4, 6.8, which is like, what is that? Like,
What
tell
are
me,
you talking
yeah, what are you talking
about?
about? Tell me what it is.
And
And then
here she is, Miss Article 6.4,
this is
6.8. Very good timing, Amelia. So Emilia is now just coming from another meeting because that's the story of our lives here. No? We try to make ourselves appear more important than what we actually are. No, but really, Emilia has been giving, a lot of very good information that civil society here can use because not all of us are able to access this negotiation rooms, these spaces. And so, Rina was asking about what is Article 6 all about? Because you already gave our friends some
Glossary of
glossary of
the
terms. We've been through
COP,
NCQG, GGA,
global stock take.
global
We've been
stocktake.
through the Just Transition Work Program. We've been through Loss and Damage Fund. So now we're in the
Follow the
articles.
agenda, huh?
No, it's just glossary. It's not our reflection yet. Yeah.
Yeah, we're just giving them an update on what's been going on and why we are free this time to speak with them.
So, well, Article 6 is the core, not the core, but it's a
Very important.
fundamental part
Yeah.
of the Paris Agreement in terms of mitigation agenda. And it's kind of problematic because the focus is on markets. If you heard about fall solutions, well, many of the fall solutions are in that Article 6, 6.2, 6.4. Supposedly 6.8 was a non-market approach, which was to bring all of the alternatives to this market system. But then again, in this COP, many proposals of markets have been introduced to 6.8. I don't know if you knew
I know.
that.
Yeah, I heard
And
the
so
carbon offsetting.
it is very problematic, but still everything is on the table. Until today, we were having a new package of the three articles. And so we will see. There's a lot of resistance from developing countries, of course, to have that knowledge. And 6.2 and 6.4, they have many loopholes that, according from the human rights group, that should be avoided. And so they're trying to say that we need to fix those before the full operation of Article 6 is happening. So we will see if we have a document an outcome here, or it's going to go to what is called here as Rule 16. I think we talked about Rule 16 last year, which is that there is not a document that is finalized, so everything is scrapped, and then we move to the next year from zero to start all over again. So
Dang,
yeah.
that sucks, no?
When was that? When was the
Everything-
last time that happened? Rule 6.
And Rule 16 happens many times, and in this very COP, the best example is agriculture.
Ah.
We had no outcome. And
I
it
think
went
if
to-
we are most sure that we are gonna have a very terrible outcome, then Rule 16 should be a good thing.
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah.
No?
for sure.
No outcome is better than
Bad
a
outcome.
terrible outcome.
Yeah.
I was about to say shitty outcome.
Why not?
I just said it. So
Are you disappointed in Tete, dear audience, at this moment?
so forgive me, but things here have been so intense. I think in the last 2 weeks, the three of us and many others have spent a lot of times crying our hearts out because it's really quite it's heavy. It's heavy, with everything that's happening in the world right now. Definitely making an impact here in the way negotiations are going on as business as usual, when in fact we know that a genocide is happening before our very eyes. What is this institution doing, the United Nations? What are governments doing to silence the voice, the critical voices, no, of civil society and social movements who've come here, making that link between why the issue, for instance, of Palestine is linked to the struggle for climate justice.
Yeah, totally agree. Like, yeah, I really, really, like, for me, this is my first COP. Okay, yeah, for me, yeah, my first COP, and then I think that what I take from this space, it is very co-opted space with many corporation, many lobbyists, and all of those. But I felt that the what do you call it, the opportunity or the chance to actually have more actions in this kind of space is amazing. Yeah, like I really never seen it in any other spaces, multilateral spaces, not at the HLPF. We
No.
always need to beg, and then we said that it's going to be a silent protest, we cannot do anything, like all of those stuff. We even got scolded one day by UNDESA just because we're standing and show all those women human rights
Human rights
defender
defender.
who got killed, but this space is different because we have action every day. We actually able to do it, the cross constituency action happening 3:30 every day. Also, they have morning action and all of those, right? So it's amazing. And then I brought 14 grassroots women here, and then I think that was their first reaction. They said that the outcome is bad, the negotiation we actually don't understand, but the action and solidarity that the social movement show, especially from the global south, is amazing, including for Palestine. So that is something that I very hope. That's my highlight for this COP. Yeah.
That's a good assessment.
Yeah, for me it's that. I mean, like it's really, and then Azra, yeah. I mean, like, yeah, yeah,
Rock star.
yeah, we have a member. Her name is Azra. Azra,
Azra was on
hi,
fire.
Azra. Hi, Azra. Yeah.
We took a picture with her.
Yes. Yeah. So Azra is from Pakistan, and she came. Of course, that she has a lot of issue on the climate, but she came with a mission to talk about Palestine in this space. And her assessment that this space is actually very good in bringing the issue up, and then she's very very happy about it. But I don't know. Like, do you think that? How about you guys? Like in terms of actions and challenge and Palestine.
What about you?
Oh yeah. How about you?
Well, for me, I think,
Ah,
in fairness to
Yeah.
the Allied forces,
yeah.
yeah, I think we have a lot of, not a lot, but we have room
Mm.
to wiggle around here.
Yeah.
But that room, that elbow room, is becoming closer, and it's shrinking and shrinking, because I think we try as activists to push the boundaries. It's a matter of assertion. It's a struggle for assertion, the legitimacy of our calls, of our demands, of our action. Because we cannot stand silent in the face of a genocide unfolding right before our very eyes. It's a genocide that's, you know, there for the whole world to see because of modern technology. But what are we doing about it? What is this space? What are the government leaders here doing about it while mouthing words like together, an inclusive future, a brighter, greener future for everyone, invoking principles of solidarity, cooperation, but keeping silent about the issue of the genocide. So
Yeah.
I think that for me is one of the biggest contradictions
Yeah.
in this space.
Yeah.
So while I do appreciate that we have a little bit more elbow
Space.
room to shout at the top of our lungs, but even that, it's being censored, and that is really really very worrisome that the UN has taken the position of the United States, of the big powers, in saying that certain chants are off limits. Certain chants, when you do it here in the UN, could get you into trouble, could get you debadged, could get you thrown out.
Yes, we will talk about this one once we're back home. The same way that last year it was also important to communicate what was happening inside and then going back home to really debrief while wearing ugly Christmas sweater.
Ah.
Do you want us to see us in ugly Christmas sweaters again?
Again.
I don't have ugly Christmas, but I have a big Christmas tree behind me. I remember that time.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but what's going on inside? Maybe that's what we can discuss right now.
Yeah, but I think it's also good. There's a lot of it's good and bad. This place is massive.
Yeah, but we can say for sure that what is happening here is also a reflection of a larger crisis in the multilateral spheres. We've been talking about this for a long time, but now we see it crashing completely with what is happening in the Security Council, the General Assembly, and of course here with all of the corporate capture that has been documented widely. And so we had a lot to unpack in terms of the role of the UN in all of this, the leadership, and of course, what are the expectations of we the people over what they have been doing. And of course, here it has been a major disappointment. Although I do agree with Rina that when you in another spaces you miss the actions than the energy that is here that you cannot find elsewhere. But also it's to compensate because many of the actions that we could be doing outside of the venue are not allowed in the country. And it's the same thing with many countries in the past. I remember Paris when all of the protests in the streets were banned because there had been a terrorist attack, but that was taken as a pretext to ban completely all of the climate movement. So again, we couldn't go out and take the streets. And despite that, there was a climate march defying the rules. But that has been in many places also in Glasgow. I remember there was a lot of repression, and a very repressive mood. Remember, there was this dragon that was
I saw that. Yeah.
really nice, and then the police took it away. So there are many messages that cannot be said in the outside the venue. So this place has been ensured at least by those focal points of civil society, so that civil society can have a voice. So that is to be grateful for. Although, of course, if they're coming up with new rules that are invented rules that are not in the book, and just all of a sudden they say this is you can't say this, you cannot say this, that is wrong, because then they're just tokenizing civil society participation, and then what are we doing here? No?
Yeah, that's true. Well, to let everyone know, Rina already mentioned that we've been having a lot of actions around here, but I think the two most significant actions for me were last December 3. It's weird, but they designated it as a Human Rights Day here in here in the COP. So the action last December 3 was about human rights, and of course, the issue of Palestine took center stage. No? So we were gathered together, hundreds of civil society standing in solidarity, reading out the names of those that have been martyred. So it was very moving, very powerful. And then yesterday, we had the People's Plenary. No,
Amazing.
It's
it
amazing.
was
It
the
was
day before that. We all came out for
No.
no, wala.
yeah. We're talking about Emilia's birthday.
And that is the secret to happiness.
And then boom, suddenly.
Yeah, so there was a global day of action for climate justice, and again, it took center stage. No,
When you're talking about the ceasefire now on the on the march, right? It's really really amazing. I have a banner called "Apartheid is real."
So good.
Oh, yeah, so good.
and there were so many watermelon banners.
And watermelon t-shirts.
Watermelon
Delicious.
t-shirts.
It's very inspiring to see people here. People from the global south and black and brown people is very inspiring to see them. White people here have been extremely disappointing, and that's for another conversation that we're gonna have when we're back home. But
Debrief.
just to tell you, white people, do better. It's just like you're such a letdown, you know?
People want to know what's happening. How about you?
I'm just telling you, if you're doing the same things that white people here, do better.
This woman is on a mission. She's making a lot of white people very uncomfortable. In all spaces that she is in, of course, it's a matter of asserting. No? We need to educate this white people that we call our allies in our climate justice struggles, etc. What does it really mean to walk with the global south? What does it really mean to be an ally for human rights, for climate justice, for social justice? I think this is forcing us to have deeper reflections on what we mean by standing in solidarity with. It's not just something you say as a lip service, not something you chant because it's hip, it's cool, it gets people fired up. But if you take the essence of what it means, it should make everybody uncomfortable, bring them out of their comfort zones.
And I think that leads us to the document that is being discussed now in the COP, the global stock take. because it is an assessment on where we are and supposedly where are we going to the future. But many countries are saying, no, 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 this is just looking at the past. We should not see towards the future, and therefore, what is the point? But the other thing is, which is more important, is that there is a low ambition regarding fossil fuels, coal, etc. And not only that, it has low ambition and no financial commitment. So we are being seeing worrying messages around that maybe some developing countries are willing to actually go with this horrible document. But just because if there's no finance, then why should just so that they are told that they're not fulfilling commitments and then they will be sanctioned or they will be.
Yeah, we also talked about Article 2.1c, no? About how that is being used to undermine developing countries' sovereignty.
Yeah, but even that is like developed countries are not, if they're asking, okay, so developed countries, they say that we want higher ambition but they don't give finance. So how is that going to happen, especially because they're responsible of the larger emissions, but there is the support for developing countries. So are developing countries going to sign that? Of course not. And then everything is low in ambition, low in finance. Then what is the point of being here? So it has been disappointing. And today there's a major campaign called Hold the Line, because the presidency has been pushing for urging to come up with an outcome today. Supposedly, this is the final day of the COP. Tete and I have experience of remaining even 2 days after, and so we're just wandering the venue over and over.
Yeah, prepared for a long night tonight, no?
Doing some runway shows, etc., just to pass the time. So we hope that Rina joins us if there is not an outcome this night tonight. Supposedly several documents are expected to be released today in a couple of hours, but then there's going to be a pressure for co-chairs to say take it or leave it. And if countries are not happy, the civil society are actually saying it's better no outcome than a good outcome. But also there is no rush. We can keep on negotiating. You keep on pushing, keep on negotiating, and precisely in these last hours, last days, it is, there's so much that you can achieve. So don't give up, don't give up to the pressures, hold the line, hold it there, and include a really ambitious language in terms of fossil fuels, phase out, and not really all of these full solutions that is out there, but also with finance. So the hold the line has been very strong since yesterday, where people held a line, and human line outside the negotiations room, and today in this morning again, and they're calling out with that hashtag, and they will be doing that again in the plenary. So I think that's also a very powerful campaign.
Yeah. And we will be there
Yeah.
to
Okay.
hold the line.
Okay.
And
Definitely.
also, Tete had her birthday here, and that's
And
why-
also Amelia.
And also Emilia.
I feel jealous. I feel so left out. But it's okay. It means that I can spoil you both.
Yeah, she did. She did.
she did. So it has been interesting to see that we've had no birthdays, like we were working.
Cop geeks. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we also had a rest day here, but we didn't really, no, we rested. We were working while on the bed, you know? We didn't have to get up at 6 a.m. to be here at the venue by 7. So that was restful enough for us, no?
So since I've been in the negotiating rooms, I barely walk. So my walk count, my steps count is of 13 to 14,000 every day, and that's because I'm seated. But that's also a lot. But Rina, tell them what is your step
Okay.
count?
Yeah.
Oh.
My step count is 25,000 every day.
Wow.
It's like, yeah, my exercise for the whole year already here. You know, I don't need
Done.
more exercise. Done. Oh my
Mine
God.
was 30,000.
You know, is it? Yeah, maybe. So that's why you
Yeah.
probably.
That's why I will just go home and put my feet up for the rest of the holiday season.
Yes, people, you need to pamper these two ladies. It's insane. We are told that there are 100,000 people in this venue.
Yeah.
Plus, in extra days of ministerial high-level meetings, 10,000 more. are coming.
So it's the biggest COP.
It's the
the
biggest cup
biggest, it
ever,
is.
and you hardly meet people because it's so big. You don't feel it crowded actually. Only
Yeah.
at the entrance, and now it's
Yeah.
no.
I don't know whether that it's the same with the other cup, but I really feel that this cup a little bit segregated. You know, like in a way that this is where you do negotiation, which is like what they call the B1 area with B2 and etc. But where all the side events, where the press conference for the civil society is usually in the B6, B7 area. So you can see, you know, like it's kind of far apart, and then
Not
people,
kinda.
yeah,
Really far.
and then the first 3 days they didn't even open the shortcut, so people need to go all the way. It's crazy, crazily massive. And then also the press conference for the like for member states, it's usually in the press conference one, which very near with the B1 area. So they really do it that way. The press conference for the member states or the parties are different with the press conference room for the civil society. So it's not like it's just like separated totally. That's how I feel.
In
You know,
distance, but there people can.
people when I came to the press conference one, I need to say, and then I need to put my feet down saying that I was invited by OECHR. So because they said no, it's only press.
To the
Observer cannot come. You know, so that is what happening. You know, I don't know whether it's only the security or anything, but I feel that's segregation.
But also, Rina is talking about civil society who has accreditation inside the
Yeah.
official venue for negotiation, which is the blue zone.
Yeah.
But also, there is another zone, which is the green one, that I haven't even
Me
had the opportunity to
neither.
see today. I think it's the last day, and that's final. And it's crazy. We're just caught up here, but that's also massive. But we have been told that it's like Star Wars. That is all about boots on technology and futuristic and
Wow.
corporate seduction.
Yeah, that's
So-
right. Yeah, because I usually enter through green zone. It's actually faster. And then when you came, you have this. What is it again? You have like the building like this, like Star Wars. It's like Kingdom of Saudi Arabia Pavilion.
Wow.
Like this, like it's like this, seriously. And then I met someone. It's that nuclear heroes.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so that's the same person, same group that doing their action yesterday with the banana thingy.
What was that? I didn't see.
You didn't see it?
Nuclear bananas.
Nuclear bananas.
Nuclear banana.
Yeah, I someone explained it to me. I don't understand it also, but she said that it's actually if banana can have the same amount of this chemical, that is supposed to be okay
Safe.
for us and safe. So that's why they're saying that nuclear is safe. That's what they've been. And then they have this polar bear, very white, no? Polar bear dancing. Polar bear dancing. Why this? Am I not allowed to say that? I'm allowed, no?
You are.
Despise Girls. So ever. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah, I've also been telling Rina and Emilia that they have a strange ticketing system here, no? Like it's already giving you a hard time to get a badge, but then when you come here, you're not always welcome to observe. Go to the negotiation rooms. So they've instituted this ticketing system where out of the thousands of NGOs that are here, constituencies only get 2 tickets.
Yeah.
So it's very very restrictive, and then they tell us you can just watch in the virtual platform. So it's like, yeah, right, I traveled all the way to Dubai only to watch from the virtual platform. But then even if you do have one of those 2 tickets, it's still not a guarantee that you're able to go inside the meeting rooms. Yeah, that's why I have my security friend, no? I got identified already here by the UN security as one of the people who kept on insisting, no, I have a right to get room. I have this special ticket. And then they,
more of the reason I know.
yeah. So the next few days until earlier today, I still meet that same UN security person, and then now he's the one telling me good morning, good afternoon. So we've become friends because he knows that I'm always going to the finance negotiations and always insisting that I get inside the room.
No, I have an issue with that ticketing system. I have like really.
I thought you were going to say with that friendship.
Well, I want to know first. You're like, can we see the person first today? Today, if I can. No, I have that issue with the ticketing system because I have, partners member who came all the way from Papua New Guinea.
Yeah.
She is like on the front line against Panguna mining, that time owned by Rio Tinto, doing copper mining. It's very, very, now the rare earth metals with the copper and everything is going to open again in PNG. And then she said that she came on the 28th. She needs to travel 4 days. 4 days, Amelia, because she's from Buka Island, from Bougainville. She needs to go to Port Moresby. They only have like what do you call it? They only have like 3 times a week flight from Bougainville to Port Moresby. So that's why she needs to leave, and then she needs to stay 2 days and go to Singapore, and Singapore go to Bangkok, Bangkok go to Dubai. Yeah. So imagine, yeah, and then she's not here just to do side events. She said she wants
present a report.
exactly. She really want to hear what the government said, and then she want to be there in the meeting room, and then that's it. And then they said that she cannot come because she doesn't have a ticket. And then what I heard, I want to politicize it or problematize it a little bit. What I heard, and I hope I'm wrong, that the ticketing system is actually the idea came from the constituency, like saying that, like that is what it said, because like for instance, like before they said that if it's full, then all the observer need to go out, right? So that's why the constituency is actually thinking to actually have at least some constituency or representative is there, but it should be treated as a bare minimum, not the maximum. So I don't understand that. I don't understand the logic of that. They're not defending. They said, okay, that's my quota, you go ahead, so where is the solidarity on that, and then what happened if there's a constituency that is not active and not there, even if it's a bare maximum, which I don't agree. But if it's actually, from out of the 9 or how many is actually someone is not there, there should be a way for us to actually, hey, you can use mine or that and this. But it's not happening.
It's not.
Yeah, so it's like we have how many observer here, and then none of them can come join. I even cannot join. I tried so many times to the climate finance.
Because I got one ticket. I'm so sorry, Rina.
I need to be one.
with that and
With it, and exactly. And then so that's my issue.
it is attention because we say we want more people. My solution is to have less white people here, and so that would make things easier. Like the representation of the global north organizations is a lot, and of course fossil fuels lobbyists should be out, but also 100,000 people is crazy.
Yeah.
Why are they all of here? Because many people are here, as we've said in other comments, like to present the reports, to do a side event or 2 side events. It's like, do they really need to come? They can do that event on Zoom, online, or present. Why are they here? And then there are other people who are just here supposedly to lead a chant or to something, but it's like, is that really needed? So how many people do you need here? And it's attention. Because of course the more pressure you have, that's why we got the loss and damage fund.
Yeah.
And this year, that's why with all of the process and civil society and social movements monitoring the process across the years, such as Tether and other people. Okay, on the first day we got the loss and damage allocations for the pledges. So the pressure is needed, but how much is enough?
Yeah.
And especially for the next COPs that don't have the money and the infrastructure that we will find here, I think it's going to be very challenging. And we need to also understand why, when someone asks me especially from the economic justice group, or so many organizations now, now we're having a new program on climate change. Like, do you? And they're like, yes, we're going to COP. Why do you have to come to COP? Like, you can work on climate change, climate emergency without coming to COP. And now everybody wants to be here, and it's really adding a lot of tensions, like the ones that you're mentioning. So I just want to mention, I don't have the solution. Well, I have a solution. Maybe people in the global north will not like it, but it is complicated.
That's true.
No. I think that one of the solution is trying to put COP in the. Yeah, okay. It's not going to look at into the scale or everything, but why don't we just do COP in global south countries, like in Asia, but it will be in Brazil. Yeah, I just remember one time we're having it in Bangkok, for instance.
Not a COP.
It's not even a COP.
It's not a COP.
It's
It's
an
an
intersessional.
intersessional. Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, they have this system of rotation, no?
regional.
Regional.
regional
So
rotation.
now it's supposed to be an Asian COP.
Oh, Azerbaijan it will be next.
Yeah.
Yes.
Next
Okay.
year it is Eastern Europe,
Eastern
so
Europe.
it moves around.
Okay. I probably I'm not going. Oh no.
Some people are already looking for hotel bookings.
Yeah,
Early.
that's true. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay.
So, what is your bet? When is it gonna end?
Tomorrow lunchtime.
You,
Tomorrow, 5 p.m.
yeah, yeah, I'm with you.
Please don't. Please don't. I haven't even seen anything in the city center. We stay in the middle of nowhere in this vast desert.
Everything is so far away, and the subway is so slow. But anyway, I don't think they're here to hear. They're here to listen to us complain.
We've been
But we
complaining.
will hold the line. So after this broadcast, we're gonna go back to the main plenary because as we're speaking, a lot of messages are popping up from this laptop informing us that we need to mobilize whoever else is here in this last few hours of the COP because there's very few of us, no?
Yes, there's very few of
Yeah.
us. You would think that in the
Is
last
it
moment.
always happen like this? Like
Yeah,
at the
and that's
last
the thing.
minute?
Like, why are they coming if they really don't care about the outcome? Right?
Yeah.
They don't engage in the process. They don't follow the process. They don't care about the outcome, and they leave. So, and this is why I'm saying
As long as
they're
they've done their side event.
they come for their side events and they come for 2 days. It's like we don't need you here. Really, don't come. And then in the final moments where we need the pressure, they're gone.
Yeah.
They're gone to the desert. They're gone to the beach, and so now people here is trying to hold the line. So that's very problematic.
Okay,
But we will hold the line.
We will hold the line. We will
Yeah,
hold the
so
line.
you will see us taking selfies inside the COP, different
Yeah.
angles, but still inside the COP. No?
Yeah, and I think that we need another session to talk about what is the real outcome of this because, like, we thought that we're going to have it, when we are talking to you, but apparently not. There was like I heard the president is really really keen to have it on the 11 a.m. this morning, which was not happening. Right?
No, because the presidency has been pushing so much
Yeah, I know.
that even the negotiators feel like, oh, it's gonna happen today because the presidency is going nuts, chasing us, and it's like we want you to take
So,
this.
yeah.
But maybe the presidency feels that no outcome is better than a terrible outcome.
No, it's about pride and like all of those. No, I think so. No, it's
Okay.
what is that message keep popping? Is that like our?
it's our IT system,
Okay, people, why don't you send us your questions? If you have any.
Not even questions, just own reflections. What do you think about this process? What do you think about how do we achieve the real solutions for climate justice?
Yeah. And to us, the bigger picture, there are many things that are being unsaid here. It's a very limiting process. We held a side event on the implications of the financial architecture reform, and there are so many processes that are related that we didn't have a chance to talk about. But we will be discussing this in relation to to another big conference, which is the FFD conference that
Financing for development. No?
Yeah, financing for development. So we are hearing more and more this issue on finance. If it's not going to be agreed here, that's because developed countries wanted to mainstream it into the overall global financial architecture. And also, what are the false solutions in the global financial architecture scheme? That is also something that we need to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like for me, I think the follow up Yeah, not really on the negotiation. We're going to keep on looking at that, but also working together with the other UN human rights mechanism. Like we've been before the COP, we actually met with the UN Special Rapporteur on climate change.
Tell the gossip.
Yeah,
The former.
it's not
The
gossip.
former.
It's not gossip anymore. Okay, it's
but
already
you-
officially it's officially announced.
It is gossip because people in America is just waking up. So this is breaking news for you, people
So
in
Rina
America.
was saying the UN Special Rapporteur, and I said the former.
Go on,
Go, Rina.
Okay. So we heard the news. It was gossip before and rumor before. We heard the news that the UN Special Rapporteur on climate change, Ian Fry, he just resigned, right? And then we just got this official email saying the resignation, and then how the HCHR will, continue to update us about who's going to be the replacement, right? That's it, without any reason, without any, like the rationale why and how, etc. And then that's for me a little bit weird because I know that he's going to make a report, right, to the Human Rights Council on the issue of the corporate accountability. He was working on that. He's actually working on the issue of corporate accountability in the context of the climate change. He asked a lot of good questions about carbon market and whether carbon market is actually good and the way, right? So that is also what's going to happen with that. Is it mean that it's not on the table anymore? Right? So that is one of our, and then the reason why I also don't know.
We can only speculate at this point.
There are some speculation, whether that it's about the way that, what he can say in terms of the issue, and then also how controlling it might be for the UN or OCHR to actually control what the special rapporteur can and cannot do, all of those stuff. So there are some speculation on that. And then also I know that he just came back from the Philippines, right? And then in his monitoring visit to the Philippines, apparently that he's very supportive to the environmental defenders in the Philippines who has been rat tagged by the government, and then he asked for the abolishment of the special task force.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
What is the special task force? The long name, you forgot. Okay,
Yeah.
it's fine. The special task force who actually done this rat tagging and then arresting the environmental human rights defender and all of those, right? So he asked for those abolishment, and maybe it also got to do with that. But again, this is speculation. Yeah.
The term was anyway about to be over, but there's still a lot of months ahead, and actually they started the process to renew that position. And there has been letters requesting that a woman steps in. Actually, and so this is the time for a woman in the global south. We actually requested that from the
Yes.
first time,
Okay.
and they chose a man. So it's like again. So yeah, so to me it's a bit disappointing that he took the role, the position that a woman should have been taking, and now he's resigning. So to me it's like, why are you then doing this? You should remain, precisely because there are so many expectations on you, and you should even push further. If you are being feel like you are being silenced, then you should really try to push the boundaries. This is your mandate, and supposedly they have independency. So I don't know. Let's wait to hear what are the reasons.
The official
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah, and also let's begin with our context to find the real gossips. But anyway,
But I heard that so many UN human rights special rapporteur came to this COP.
yeah.
Like I heard that is the biggest contingent. I don't know how many.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the biggest contingent. They have like many. Yeah, we have David Boyd for the environment, if I'm not mistaken, and then right to development. And indigenous. And then that for that also, and then what else? Several, and then they had a press conference about what do they say about the issue and everything. I just found it's such a pity, like very small kind of, not so many chance to actually engage with them or push them to do something more. Like I think it's just like very restricted.
They usually, when they come, but that's mostly happening in Bonn,
Mm.
that they hold meetings with civil society, and they actually join our meetings. So we
Yeah.
have plenty of time to interact. Maybe here they have a more official agenda, but
Maybe.
in Bonn, they hang out with us.
Same.
Not hanging
Yeah,
out
yeah,
like in the
yeah.
cafeteria, but they come and join our meetings, and so
Yeah. Yeah, I think only Atia came to the woman gender
Yeah.
constituency meeting one day. Yeah. Yeah.
And just before closing, I also want to talk about something else. Do you remember many years ago we talked about a process called Generation Equality Forum that was led by UN Women, and we had all of these this Generation Equality Forum had specific groups made for specific topics. So we are leading the Economic Justice and Rights Action Coalition. So there are several action coalitions. And so each action coalition released their blueprints, which were like their agendas to put forward, like the pathway. So it's end of 2023, and the Economic Justice and Rights Action Coalition was not able to deliver on their transformative economies blueprint because we wanted to have a macro agenda, and there were so many resistances and red flags from all of the stakeholders that are parties, that are private sector, philanthropy, etc. So finally we were able to make some commitments amongst all of us. So finally we will launch a transformative economies blueprint this week on the 14th, and it's going to be really interesting because of course we tried to bring a very ambitious document, and what we achieved was actually that civil society was presenting its own vision, different from the ones that governments, different from the ones that are private sector. It was the only way we could actually launch it, and there are some common point of entry that we all agreed, like participation, gender responsive budgeting, etc., which are like, it's fine, but then I wish we could have agreed on transformational things. I mean, it's fine, it's good, but the bigger picture, the structural pillars, will be in the feminist blueprint. So you will see. I think this is important to mention because many of people in our audience have also been following the GEF. Many of them have also been disappointed about the GEF as much as we are, but then we will have that occasion to discuss it. But at the end of 2023, we end up with a final blueprint that was missing from all of the action coalitions, and will launch it in the 14th.
The 14th.
Yeah.
So the next Despise Girls will discuss that while
Yes,
we're doing
exactly.
while we do the debriefing on COP, and then also wearing our sweater.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Let's show everyone our t-shirt.
Yes! Finally, Despise Girls again. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Kisses. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao. Dadah.
See you.